Everyone, this is Gary Watson at the National Fire Training Centre. Thanks for joining the webinar this afternoon. I hopefully all see the screen there in front of you. The two people leading the conversation this afternoon will only be a quick webinar today, I think. There's myself and my colleague from Steve. Steve, I understand you there?
Yeah, I'm Steve Metcalf at Manchester Airport.
Okay, great. Well, the purpose of this webinar really is just to talk through the callers and the people who were listening in from YouTube when this is posted, to explain some of the rationale behind IFTC and Manchester Airports Group coming together to join forces on the provision of training to teams in the UK and overseas. And really, when we were looking at our capabilities, we could see that we had some great training and educational resources here at the International Fire Training Centre. And really, just to add to that, we needed to join with somebody who had very strong operational expertise. And within that operational expertise, also somebody who had, a particularly impressive fire ground with dual fuel burns and so on. And so operationally and in terms of training resources, we identified Manchester Airports Group as being able to bring those qualities to partnership to really enhance the overall offer to our respective and shared clients. Now, the purpose of the partnership really is fourfold for this conversation. One is it's about continuous professional development. Naturally, people know that our instructors here at the IFTC renamed since yesterday as tutors rather than instructors, just to capture that educational feel and to reflect the changing nature of the relationship between a student and instructor. Those tutors really need to make sure that their expertise is kept current, that they're fully au fait with an optional environment. Really, by engaging with Manchester Airports Group, we can send our tutors to their airports, spend some time with the teams there to maintain the currency of their knowledge. So continuous professional development. So when your delegates come to IFTC, they're trained by people who are expert in instruction, but also with a fully up-to-date knowledge of airport operations. Second part of this was about delivery. We only have so much capacity here at the International Fire Training Centre. In certain periods of the year, that capacity is pushed to the limit, and we're coming to that period in the next 3 or 4 months. So we needed additional capacity. So when clients want to use our facilities or a capability, we can provide them with something excellent. Now, Steve's operation at Manchester in particular has got Big Rig. Steve, I'm not sure if you can just describe some of the capabilities of Big Rig for the people on the line.
Yeah, Gary, the Big Rig is technically advanced baton rig, one of the biggest in Europe, and it has a dual burn capability, in that we can burn gas and kerosene. We have a large area surrounding that particular piece of equipment, which allows us to move and provide other obstacles and obstructions, which can present a whole range of different scenarios, not just centered on a one deployment, one shot training experience. We've looked into this very carefully, and we can provide a whole variety of different incidents that firefighters on airports around the world are likely to encounter.
Perfect. That's Steve. So the again, kind of background, we can see that Manchester Airports Group have got some strong capabilities in the delivery of training. That leads us neatly on to the new product development, the NPD. So with the training expertise and the operational expertise and the kind of exposure here at IFTC to different client requirements and perhaps servicing clients in new ways, the team at Manchester Airports Group and IFTC are looking at developing new products for the marketplace, really to plug some gaps that exist, or indeed just to offer alternative venues for courses that the clients are already aware of and already are looking to book themselves onto. So in terms of choice of course, choice of location, by coming together, the two organisations can offer that. Out of that, really, it's about innovating the overall offer. Yeah, how do we blend the expertise to improve value to the customers, to make sure the knowledge is being transferred effectively and sustainably, to the delegates who come to for accredited courses and also for some exercising purposes. We're already looking at some new opportunities on emergency planning, in particular to do with airport operations, which hopefully will be putting some flesh on the bones there in the next couple of months. So really, you put all different things together, and by coming together, it's really about that client value, better serving our customers together. Now, some of those new courses I mentioned previously, they're actually up on our website now, which is all the W's, iftc.co.uk, with full course details, the descriptors and so on. So it might be worthwhile just running through some of those headline topics and just explaining in, briefly some of the stuff that the team there will do for the customers.
Yeah, Manchester Airport is Cat 10 International Airport, one of the biggest in the UK, and in that we have training departments around the airport. We all come together to provide a training solution for a full range of customers from all around the world. So included in our particular offering, we've also covered security, which is Level 3 Security Managers course, an intensive 2-week course which is run by an development department here at the airport and qualifies anyone who has a supervisory or management function with regard to aviation security. It's a valuable course, and it's a course I've actually undertaken myself, and it's very interesting and certainly prepares managers for operating in that role. The PTI course, that's another one that's delivered on the fire station, outside of the normal programmed events that you would find in many ATPs. I think the PTI course is essential for a modern day fire service, which places a great importance on physical fitness and medical standards as far as their firefighter and other staff are concerned. The PTI course is run for the CAP 699 requirements, and it is set up to meet them requirements as far as that area of the legislation and guidance is concerned. Aviation scene management, incident scene management, is a course designed for our authority colleagues from all agency services to experience and expose themselves to incidents that they're likely to encounter on and around airports around the world, where ordinarily may not get the opportunity to experience firsthand. So it's a very popular course that, again, we run at on a regular basis. Then extraction, self-explanatory, can be used for a number of situations, including RTAs, RTCs, or aviation incidents. Emergency ventilation, tips and techniques within the aviation firefighting arena. A tactical ventilation course has been designed, and we've run a couple of successful pilot courses with regard to this particular initiative. And it's an ideal forum for those just entering into this area of specialisation and considering taking on board the additional resources, additional training that is required to effectively apply this particular tactic at an aviation incident. Finally, the one up there is recognition of firearms and explosives. This is a security-related aviation course, which is situated for security personnel who are engaged in training of bags, personnel, passengers, staff, aircraft, etc. And it's a very useful course, again, run by our Learning and Development Department, alongside the Security Level 3 Managers course.
Perfect. So the only word I'd add there is the International Fire Training Centre, we run aviation incidency management. And honestly, the kind of target market for that can be reasonably narrow. So what we've done now is from the final quarter of this year and then onwards, we won't be running that course ourselves. As we get inquiries, we'll route them through to Manchester. And the benefit there is just more delegates on the course, a better dynamic, a better learning environment. So again, that's about making sure that the clients get the full value for the investment they make in their training. So, as I said, around new product development, what next? Well, we've identified that there seems to be a real appetite amongst airports in the UK, Ireland, and indeed overseas to have a particular course around emergency planning, maybe business continuity, but certainly emergency planning for airport operations. And Manchester Airport Group, IFTC, and the team at the Emergency Planning College, another Circle business, is together we're coming together to try and develop that course content and make sure that we've got something very niche and very relevant for the market. And we'll certainly keep you informed of developments on that on our website, on Twitter, and our LinkedIn group. So, what's it about? It's about developing new relevant courses for you, the client. It's to make sure that our tutors are fully informed by operations and delivering the course material within that kind of context. Sometimes, competition's good. I certainly believe that myself. It drives improvement. It keeps costs down. It pushes innovation. But often, it's about choice. Yeah, sometimes you can have those improvements around innovation, around new product development, around a variety of experiences without being competitive. So, Manchester Airport Group and International Training Centre have come together for that kind of breadth of voice to the marketplace, and in doing, quite simply, to better serve the world's airports. IFTC has got one of the best fire grounds of its kind in the world. If you don't believe me, I'm sort of getting that from people who've been here recently, from Switzerland, from Vancouver, from Namibia, and other geographies. You put that together with the fact that Manchester Airport, Cat 10 operation, through an international airport with destinations around the world. Together we can service those marketplaces wherever they might be. And the real purpose is in our coming together to provide value, choice, and expertise to the customers. So that really just rounds up that précis of what we're about. Steve, is there anything else that you'd like to say on that? Steve's put me on mute, or put him on mute. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Gary, I would. The title of this session is a partnership for our industry, and I very much see this as a very firm partnership, a formidable partnership, a partnership that can deliver the very best of both the operational environment and the training environment to the world's aviation firefighters and associated industries. So it's an exciting launch, it's an exciting prospect, and Manchester Airport are fully committed to delivering the very highest standards of training that we possibly can, supported by the International Fire Training Centre.
Perfect, thanks for that, Steve. If anybody has any questions, obviously you know where to find me. But just quickly before we bash on, because I know we're approaching 15 minutes now, and I want to try and keep it as clipped as possible. Does anybody have any questions online?
Yeah, Gary, Keith Jewett, Deputy Safo, Bournemouth Airport. The question is to Steve, really. Steve, who's going to run these courses at Manchester?
We're going to run them within existing resources. It's a new venture. We've just launched. We're going to manage them within existing resources for the time being. As demand gets greater, which we're confident it will, then we can establish a full training cell here where we rotate the operational staff so that we keep the staff refreshed on operations and on training various different groups of people.
With that, do you mean that it's going to be run by the operational crew on at the time, or a separate sort of entity to that?
It'll be a bit of both, depending on which program we're actually running. if it's possible to run it with using the operational crew, then that's what we would do. Clearly, that's not always ideal, and it's not always, an ethical practice, depending on the program that's being run. So, if required, we would bring in additional operational staff in on additional time to provide the training resources for us.
Right. Yeah, and do you envisage any problems with that at all, or?
No, not at all. We've got full buy-in from the staff here at on station. Very keen to get involved into the training that may be on offer, and also to the profile of the fire service here at Manchester Airport and throughout the group in order to provide a positive experience from the fire station.
Okay. And I suppose that could possibly integrate with the MOC. Do you think that will work?
Really, we can run the MOC alongside this. We've carried a detailed study into our capacities, and undoubtedly both measures and both initiatives can be run very successfully alongside each other.
Yeah, thank you for that, Gary, as well.
Okay. Any questions from anybody else online? Okay, well, in mind, it's absolutely beautiful weather here in the northeast of England, and would you believe that we've just taken delivery of 4 bikes here at IFTC for our delegates to use free of charge. So I'm about to sign off and go out and have a little cycle around the fireground. How about that? So thanks everybody, and thanks again for joining the call.
Yep.